this is Brett from Survival Cops.
Today I want to talk about an incredibly useful EDC item that I've received. And you know, if you're a member of a social media group that talks about EDC items or multi-tools or anything of that nature, you'll see that a lot of times people do pocket dumps of different types of items that you question the utility or if that individual actually carries that item on an everyday basis. But this right here is an incredibly useful item. I picked this, or rather this came in the December 2020 Apoca box, and it's a useful item for just about anybody. It's a simple dump pouch. I know that dump pouches aren't particularly new or unique. They've made collapsible dump pouches in like a Molly type of setup for like tactical gear for quite some time now, and the bushcraft forums and stuff have had bushcraft dump pouches for a while, and this certainly would qualify as something like that. But what's nice about something like this is that you can see the size of the bag. It's of a canvas construction with a leather strip, and you can see how this folds up, and you can stow it on your belt as such and deploy it as needed. And this is incredibly useful for carrying tools, screws, or just about anything. I mean, it's the size of a canteen. It wouldn't be a particularly comfortable way to carry something of that weight, but for the short term you could certainly do so. Now, these aren't very difficult for someone to make if they wanted to make one of their own. This is just a simple canvas stuff sack that someone's put together, and they've taken a strip of leather and affixed it to the rear of it, and then they've added a second strip of leather on the top of it, and this basically makes a belt loop for it. Now, one thing about it that I'm not a big fan of is this snap enclosure, and I'm going to address that by removing these snaps and just placing a saddle stitch across there. More often than not, anything that connects to your belt quickly and easily will also disconnect quickly and easily from your belt at an inopportune time. We're going to eliminate that possibility. It does have a rather compact profile, but what I've noticed in service and using this is that the bag prolapses easily out the side of it, and that's not desirable either. So I'm going to take and add a second snap down here, and that's going to tighten this up quite a bit, while it's still going to allow me enough space to fit onto an 1.5" or 1 3/4 belt. Now, there's a couple of different ways we can do this. We can actually remove these snaps by drilling them out and knocking them out, and then we'd have little small holes, probably like a 3/16 hole through the leather itself and also through the fabric on the inside here. But this is actually acting as a fairly effective rivet at the base of this, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that undisturbed, but I am going to fold this back here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a box stitch in this area right here, so I can take my punch here and lay out the box, and then just starting at the corners here, go ahead and lay out my stitch holes here. Now, taking our thread, this should be plenty of thread right here to complete this stitch. Do your simple saddle stitch. Just take and put a needle on either end, just like this. Attach to either end of your thread, and just go ahead and start with your first stitch. To do the saddle stitch, run your needles through just like this, and then the needles dance with one another. You have this needle leads, and this needle comes underneath and follows. Tight. Now this needle that followed before now leads, and again passes underneath and follows. and so on and so forth until your stitch is complete, or you'll back stitch one or more, your choice. Then finish your stitch in a square knot, trimming it off and then burning the ends. You can see that we've closed the box on our box stitch now, and we can double stitch if we choose to do so, or we can move forward and then back stitch a little bit. It's really up to you how you want to finish this off. And now we've got our box stitch completed, and you can see right here where I wasn't consistent in crossing over, and that's the reason why I have that hiccup there. But once we're done with that, the way we finish the stitch is just with a simple square knot, right over left, then left over right. Trim with a razor blade and burn them off, and that's all there is to it. And as you can see, that's not going anywhere. The next thing we wanted to change was we wanted to make a tighter bundle on our belt to keep the pouch from falling open or prolapsing out of its enclosed or travel configuration. So what we can do is we can go ahead and roll this over, and then we have some idea of just how tight we want it to be. So we can take our awl and make a spot where we want our other snap to reside. Take our punch and run it through like this, and then take our snap, or the base of our snap. Now take something firm to use as our base here, and I'm just going to use this aluminum block and place the body of our snap over. And then we're just going to go ahead and take a snap set, and with as few strokes as possible. So now we've set our second snap. Configure this thing for its transport. Run it like that. Run this over there, and then this down here. Snap it shut, and it makes for a much more compact package than what we had before. So there you have it, a small, practical, multifunctional EDC item that works for you, that you can make yourself and can make your life much easier depending upon what you're doing. I hope this helps. This is Brett from Survival Comms. Till next time.